Okay, so this evening we're going to have a little look at Volanta, which is the free offering from OrbX that allows you to track your flights, an electronic flight logbook. I guess it's going directly into competition with Flight Sim Toolkit Pro. So let's have a little look at it. So I've just loaded it up and it knows my aircraft is at Skopje. So if I just tap across, I'm in Prepare 3D, sat in the rain, provided by Active Sky of Skopje Airport in Macedonia, which is one of the free airport downloads from OrbX. If you've got OrbX Base, you can download this airport, and it's a very good one. You can see in the distance, it's very good quality. See the gates over there. Can we zoom into the gates and see them? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm in an ATR 42 on the runway at Skopje. This is a Riku freebie ATR 42, so it's kind of halfway towards steady level. And it looks quite nice. You can have a look outside, you can see it here. But this isn't why we're here. We're here to have a look at Volanta. So you get several tabs. If you click on Volanta, it recenters on your aircraft on the map. It automatically connects to a simulator. You can go through the settings to do some configuration yourself. There's simulators here and connections, so you can do various things. Simulators, here we go. Look. So if you've got DCS World even, it will connect to that, which is quite useful. I haven't tried that yet. So I'm just using Microsoft Flight Simulator. Anyway, so if you click on the Volanta logo, it brings you back to this home position, getting ready to do a flight. So I'm going to put in a call sign, OGJBK, flight number, I don't know, JB001. It knows it's the ATR 42, and it knows that's the call sign that's got out of the simulator for it. So there's my aircraft. I'm going from Skopje International Airport. You can click on these and type in the codes, by the way, or a part of the name, and it will do it. You can put a flight plan in. Now I'm going to cheat at this point, and I've got a little nav map running. So here's my aircraft sat on the runway ready to go. So I've put a few little waypoints in, and I can do a trick in Little Nav Map where you can go to Flight Plan, and you can copy the flight plan route description to the clipboard. So then I can come into here and I can say add a flight plan, paste a route. So you could go to SimBrief or import the file, but I'm going to paste the route. So I'm going to put the cursor in the box, press Ctrl V, and save the route. And there's a little bit of luck. I was expecting that to show some waypoints, and it hasn't, which is interesting. Maybe it doesn't understand routes that go back on themselves. Again, this is very much a 1.0 release of Volanta. So anyway, well, let's go and follow the flight and see what happens. So let's get the flaps down. You can see flaps over here coming down to 15 degrees. Come off the wheel brakes. Spin the engines up. We're on our way. So I'm basically going to fly a circuit. I'm not going to follow the flight plan. But I want to show you what you get off the back of it after you've done your flight. So remember, Volanta is primarily working as an electronic flight logbook. So rotate. Gear up. Flying about 340 degrees for the runway direction. So we want to go about 160 degrees for the reciprocal. Flaps up, getting some speed up. So we'll turn to 160. It's pretty low cloud by the look of it. I'm not sure what the cloud base is. I haven't checked the meteorological report. We're coming up fairly level for about 1,400, 1,500 feet. Full throttle still. We're still accelerating. That is lovely, isn't it? You get the best weather when I do these videos. I seem to be cursed. Okay, comes the rudder. And let's try and trim this out so it's not going to dive into the floor or climb into the sky like an acrobat. Okay, let's look out sideways. And you can see the airfield over there. Let's keep an eye on our vertical speed here. Make sure we're not going into the ground. So we're just going to get some distance, then we'll come back in. I've been very impressed with the base scenery from OrbX. This is a global base, and also with Active Sky, it does make a huge difference. So you get realistic weather. And I know you get all this for free with Flight Simulator 2020. Okay, let's make this turn. So this is really just looking at Volanta more than anything. It will work with 2020, it will work with X-Plane. Oh, we've overshot the runway. Of course, that's because I probably accelerated a little bit on the downwind leg. So let's slow down, we're down to 180 knots. Gear down. And we'll bring it in and see what Volanta gives us about our flight after the fact. I do get the best weather for these flights, don't I? I just leave everything on realistic though. I can't see any point of not doing that. And we're down. So we can go for reverse on the propellers, which will stop us very quickly. Flaps up. We can at least get off the active runway before we go and have a look, can't we? Hey. Turn off the runway. I don't think we need to go to the gates, so we'll turn here and avoid them. Just park up over here on the concrete. Okay, so we'll leave the airplane there and let's go and look at what Volanta did. So as you can see, it's recorded our flight. And if we say end the flight, it will change and we can review our flight. Now if we go and zoom in down here on a flight that's already happened, we can see the path of our flight, but where it gets interesting is we can turn it into 3 dimensions. So if you had a massive descent, obviously I didn't go anywhere up to 1,000 feet, but if you had a massive descent, you'd see it in 3 dimensions, which is quite cool. And also, you also get a marker of where you touch down on the runway, and you can hover over it and it will tell you your landing rate and the wind at the time. So 134 feet per minute, 99 knots, 240 degrees, 4 knot wind. So it's quite cool. But where this gets really interesting is obviously you can see all of your other flights that you've done. Now, if you go and look at the map, and zoom out, you start to see things like the sectors for VATSIM and for the other simulation networks. But if we go to flights, we can see the flights we've done. So it allows you to import Flight Sim Toolkit Pro flights as well, which is why you can see I haven't really done these in the last couple of days. These are the ones I've done variously over the last few months in Flight Sim Toolkit Pro when I've remembered to switch it on. So, but where it gets really interesting, if we look at the map look, this is the people that are using the software at the moment. If we go to map settings, this is showing, we can show the Volanta users, the VATSIM users, IVAO users, FS Cloud, Pilot Edge. We can see the major airports, the minor airports, the helipads. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? So when you get to an airport, so somewhere like Frankfurt, and look at the detail as well, when we zoom in on an airport, we get all the taxiways. So we can use this for taxi instructions, so we can keep an eye on it. So it's got good enough details of the taxiways to see them. Obviously it's also got the frequencies for the controllers, so if we click on that we get to see who the controller is at the moment, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Simon van der Snikt on VATSIM, and who's doing London Centre at the moment? Jonas Hay, 127.82. If we go and have a look down here, we can see Essex Approach, Ryan Young. It's pretty good, isn't it? And it just sucks all this data off the internet. We can spin the map around, obviously, and we can turn this on and off to make it as busy or as quiet as we want the map to look. I think where this gets quite stunning is if we go and zoom in on somebody and we click on them, we get to see their flight plan so far. So if you were doing air traffic control, and actually it makes no sense with that one, let's see something where there's a background behind it. It's about every 5 seconds I think it updates, so we'll sit and watch him for a moment. Tom9TV, so it's just updated look, so it's probably fast enough for a sector air traffic controller to use this. So if you're doing a long flight with ATC, even amongst a group of friends, if somebody's acting as ATC, this is probably good enough, so you can hover over it to see what the flight is. Obviously it hasn't got some of the niceties of a proper ATC suite where you can have labels flying along with the aircraft as you select them, something like the likes of Euroscope might do, but I think it's very, very good. So yeah, that's Volanta. It's also got a social side to it as well. There's all sorts of challenges built into it. So if we go and look at this one, Dubrovnik VOR briefing, embark on this non-precision approach challenge into Dubrovnik. So we've also got aircraft, so you can register aircraft with it. So it will actually do it itself, so you don't have to. In Flight Sim Toolkit Pro you have to go and arrange your fleet. In this it can sense which aircraft you're flying in the simulator, so when you start a flight it's already got half of it filled out, so in a way it will build up the aircraft for you as you go along. So obviously it's got the history of your flights as well. But yeah, I've not actually tried the challenges out yet. I guess you just go and choose one. So what's top of the world? Fly into Svalbard. So I guess once you've landed there, that challenge will get ticked off. Svalbard, that's where the polar bears live, isn't it? And where his Dark Materials was famously based. Okay, so yeah, this is Volanta. It's an electronic flight logbook. I think it's very good. It kind of strikes a nice balance of being usable, and obviously it's version 1, so new features are going to appear, but it does landing rates, it does the flight track, of where you flew, and it keeps a nice history. So there you go. You can see some of the great circle routes when I did a transatlantic to try out the simulator. And I went to London to New York as well. So, okay, I'll stop there. I'm just jabbering on now, aren't I, about rubbish. Oh, you can attach friends on here as well and see if they're online at the same time as you. So I'll stop there. Volanta. It's free from OrbX. Search for it online, you'll find it.